Welcome back to the Tennessee Valley this morning. So glad you joined us today on this Friday. We're so excited about it.
I am excited. It's Friday.
And Friday is a football day. And I forgot to mention that my co-host is dressed out in Tennessee orange.
Tennessee orange, go Vols. And I plan on wearing Tennessee orange all weekend since I will be in Florida.
Yeah, but you're not going to the game.
I'm not going to the game, but
Going to the beach.
I'm going to the beach. I plan on watching the game.
Our special guest, Jay Baumgartner, is here, and we were talking during the break, and he has a special volunteer story of his own having to do with basketball, I understand. Good morning, Jay. Let me welcome you first of all.
Good to be with you.
Glad to have you.
Glad I'm here for blood assurance, but let's get down to the priorities.
That's right.
Got to do the priority
Tennessee
thing
Vols.
first. That's exactly right. But you had a story involving the Lady Vols.
From way back in the day when Pat was still working at the bank. My first cousin played on Pat's first Final Four team, and they would eat their pregame meals at my aunt and uncle's house because there was very little money in the budget.
Sure.
Is that not crazy? And when we would go out of town, when I was a freshman, I would do the ladies' laundries and do all these things and keep the team going. We would literally get off the van and they gave them $2 to go to McDonald's for the pregame meal.
Oh my goodness!
Incredible?
And Pat Summitt literally built that program from nothing to what it is today.
So
it's really incredible.
That's in our blood too. So
That's a great story.
You're a good man.
That's a great story, Jay. I'm so glad that Jay got up so early to come up. I haven't seen Jay, I think, since. Well, it's been about 2 or 3 years when we were both at the Emmaus Walk.
Right, or First Things First banquet.
First Things First. Might have guessed. It was one of the other. Yeah. Julie, of course, Julie Baumgartner is his wife, and she's the executive director of First Things First in Chattanooga. I'm sure you've heard about that. But Jay is Vice President, Community Relations and Blood Assurance, and we're just glad to have you here today to talk about that, Jay.
Well, thank you for having us.
Blood Assurance, a very important part of the health services community in Chattanooga and Cleveland.
And let me tell you, Bradley County does an incredible job for blood assurance. We're so thankful that we have our facility up here and the blood mobile that stays here. And when there's a real need, usually Bradley County, we have an excess amount of blood that is collected here. So when it goes to other trauma centers, without naming a lot of hospital names, we have it on the shelf for people. But in the last couple of weeks, we have literally run out of blood products. And on Monday when I came to work, we ran out of one product. It's called a platelet. And you find out that a lot of chemo patients use these platelets, and it helps clot the blood. And you know, chemotherapy just attacks your system.
It does.
And so when you do that, for some reason, your clotting factor goes way down. You have to have a platelet, which is an automated collection system, and they call that apheresis, which I really don't know what that means, but I know it means it's an automated system that, and I do that, and it takes about an hour to do platelets versus a regular donation when the needle hits it, so only about a 7 or 10 minute donation. This is usually a little over an hour. I can actually make 3 platelets.
3.
When my platelet count is that high, and you can do that every other week. And in Cleveland, we actually have a portable platelet units that come up here the first Wednesday of every month. And if you're interested in learning more about this, come by our facility or call us at Blood Assurance, and we'd love to put you on the machine.
In Chattanooga, the facility is there on 3rd, close to the Roundhouse.
Right.
I've been there a few times. And in Cleveland, where's the office?
I mean, we're just right down here on Keith Street.
Oh.
And you know where the sign is. It's hard to see, go down that drive and don't see our electronic digital sign as they're saying, please come donate.
Yeah. I believe it's in the vicinity of where Tractor Supply, across the street.
Across the street,
from
right.
where Tractor Supply is. And it's manned, 8 hours a day?
We're there Monday through Friday, 8 to 6, and on Saturday, 9 to 1.
Okay.
Now,
So
I want to go back and explore the platelets a little bit more, Jay. I'm really not sure what that is. They still extract the blood, and then they extract the platelets from the blood?
They do. It's a very automated system, and so they take a little bit of your blood, and then some way through the centrifuge, it can sort out the platelets, and you actually receive your red cells back in your body,
Oh.
and it puts the platelets in a different bag.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's interesting.
It is, and it used to be a 2-arm procedure. Now it's just a 1-arm procedure. So if you had a little itch or tickle on your nose, you'd have to call somebody over there. Now you have an e-chair, which means you can get your email, you can watch movies. It's a
Oh, wow.
computerized chair. You're going to be there for a while, so if
Yeah.
you want to check into something that you really want to watch,
And
it's
they
right
usually
there for
give you a snack, a glass of orange juice, or a cookie or something. I imagine.
And don't forget the T-shirt.
oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
Forgot
There's
about
always a T-shirt.
that. Yeah.
And you can sign up for something. We find that you kind of give little incentives away. That's not the right word, but it's a prize at the end of the
Yeah.
month. So we have
A way of saying
$1,000.
thank you. I guess that's what that is. Just a way of saying
Thank you for clarifying that. Dan.
Oh, that's what we do here, Jay. That's what we do.
Yeah. You want to reframe that for me again? But it's really it is a way to say thank you. And
Yeah.
at the end of the month, somebody will win $1,000 worth of free camping equipment this year.
Oh, my.
So it's going to be fun.
That is an incentive there.
Yeah.
Well, now I know Blood Assurance does the blood drives, where you go down or go around to different places and do the blood mobile. Can you do that with collecting the platelets?
You can.
Okay.
This is a portable unit. And so we have these people that have been specialized and trained to do these things, and they go all over our 34 counties that we serve. And so we
34.
Yes, from
Wow.
Cookeville all the way to Cartersville, Georgia, to Rome, Georgia, to Fort Payne, to
I had no
McMinnville.
idea it was
I
that
didn't
large.
either.
Well, we take care. Well, you have to realize it sounds big, and that makes a lot of hospitals. But when you look at Erlanger Memorial, Bradley County, and Dalton, that's probably 75% of what we do.
Your service area, okay.
It's just that's where the people live. Cookeville, Tennessee is a pretty large user. They use about 600 pints a month. Bradley right here, of course, at Sky Ridge now is about 700 units a month, and we really want to make sure that each community knows what they need to collect to support themselves. Because this is not about being able to call, well, I'll just call in back here in production and ramp up another line. It's not that easy. We have to get volunteers in, and the testing,
Right.
and the FDA is very involved in what we test and how we do our products.
And the reason there's a continuing appeal is because the product, the blood or the platelets, have a very short lifespan, right?
Correct. It only has a 5-day shelf life, and one of those days is in testing. So when you get it, much less the travel time, and sometimes we will ship something out at noon that expires in the hospital at midnight, but we know they're going to use it.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So
So
that
there
is-
is a continuing appeal.
Yeah, and
keeping it in front of the public.
that's big, and just the basic blood supply itself. We rarely have more than a 2-day shelf inventory on to provide for our hospitals, and we feel a lot better when we have a 5 or 7 day inventory, because we can kind of rest and relax. But for the most part, people just don't give. Only about 3 to 5% of the population actually donates, and about 60% can.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
What are some of the reasons someone could not give?
Well, sometimes it's medication, sometimes it's travel, and depending on all those crazy questions that we have to ask you, and it can be health related, and malaria area travels, you're gone for a year. So many, for example, you go to this community college or Lee over here. Just think about how many kids that go on mission trips to the
Right.
Dominican Republic.
Right.
They're deferred for at least 1 year.
Oh,
Okay.
So there's things like that. And if you're on medications, you can be a diabetic and still donate. But the deal is, if you're on a lot of medications, bring your medication list with you, and we can tell you very quickly if you're okay or not to donate.
now let's talk about Blood Assurance itself. Give us a little bit of the history about it. And you guys are unique. You're the area's only blood bank, right?
We are the sole provider. Started in 1972, about to celebrate a 40th year anniversary. And
Wow.
it started in the old James building in downtown Chattanooga. And they actually put drawing stations in the hospitals. And at that point, there were 4 hospitals: Erlanger, Memorial, Park Ridge, and the old Tri-County Hospital that is now Hutchinson. And then in about 1978, the current building, they moved in there, and they started expanding a little bit. And the way Blood Assurance truly has expanded is the hospitals have contacted us because they know that we can collect And it's also, we do it in a way that is very economical for the hospitals to save a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you know, when you in this day and age, when it's medical, they're looking at everything to make sure. And there's actually a cost of testing on this blood, and Blood Assurance is like the second or third lowest cost blood center in the country.
Really?
Wow.
Out of about, yes, very efficient.
That's wonderful.
So Grady Lane started Blood Assurance with Leonard Fant, and Leonard Fant was the CEO of Blood Assurance before he retired.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so it's
great history.
It is.
And do a great service to this community. I didn't realize that your service area covered 34 counties, but that's quite a span.
It's grown.
In Georgia as well, I assume.
Yes, down to Cartersville, Georgia.
Oh, that's quite a reach.
It feels like Atlanta to me, but I don't want. I really don't want to go to Atlanta. That's not my idea of a fun time.
Well, Jay, is there a website, contact information?
Yes, the easy thing is www.bloodassurance.org.
Okay.
You can trace a lot of things that way, and also our basic phone number in Chattanooga is 756-0966.
Okay.
And if you'd like to be part of the platelet donation crew,
Sure.
come by the office or just call in and make an appointment.
And they can also go by the Cleveland office.
They can.
I assume. Yeah, that's great. Well, there is a need, and I've discovered through the years that Cleveland-Bradley County usually responds to a need. They're
Extremely.
a very giving community, and we hope that a lot of people will show up on your front door today on North Keith Street and donate the platelets. Blood Assurance, don't forget that website, bloodassurance.org. We have to take a break, but it's always good to see you, Jay. And thanks so much for coming by and sharing this information with us today.
Good to be with you.
And give our best to your lovely wife, Julie.
I will.
We got to take a break. 6:58. We're going to come back and talk about Hospice of Chattanooga with an old friend, and I emphasize the word old. Gary Mack is in the studio. Back in just a moment. I'll hear about that, I'm sure.
Hello, I'm Pastor Greg Casto with United Christian Church here in Cleveland, Tennessee. Do I have some exciting news for you? On September the 25th, right here in Cleveland, Tennessee, the mighty Kingsman Quartet from Asheville, North Carolina is going to be here in concert. That's on Sunday night at 6 o'clock, September the 25th, right here at 2200 Peerless Road here in Cleveland, Tennessee. I want you to be here and be a part of this great concert.
I'm Kathy Guy with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. Call us today for all your personal insurance needs. With 28 years in the insurance business, I have the solutions and pricing you are looking for. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland, is your #1 Dodge Chrysler and Jeep dealer in this area. Stop by and see the brand new 2011 Chrysler 200. The 200 is essentially a new nameplate with a significant facelift to the outgoing 2010 Chrysler Sebring. A beautiful vehicle at an unbeatable price. And while you're there, check out the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee and the newly designed Dodge Durango. Redesigned, revamped, and reinvigorated. Yes, the Dodge Durango is back, bigger and better than ever. Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep offers a complete parts and service department with qualified service technicians to fix and repair your vehicle. So for your next brand new or pre-owned vehicle, make it Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland.
I'm Dr. James Markham, host of the television program Heart of Health, seen right here on WTNB television. Thursday at 7 o'clock, Friday at 8 a.m. or Sunday at 3:30 p.m.
How would you like to look and feel better? If so, then visit the Ford Center for Anti-Aging, located at 2020 Key Street Northwest. Dr. Ford has been serving Cleveland and the surrounding area since 1984. He is a licensed physician with the Board of Anti-Aging Medicine, offering affordable Botox injections. Botox is a medication that is used to treat dynamic wrinkles such as crow's feet, forehead lines, and frown lines. In addition to Botox therapy, rejuvenate and smooth wrinkled skin. The micro laser peel treats skin conditions associated with aging and active lifestyles. If you're looking for safe and affordable anti-aging treatment, call the Ford Center for Anti-Aging at 423-614-0535. located at 2020 Key Street Northwest.
Do you want to own your own business? Have you dreamed of being your own boss? If so, you do not want to miss the Be Your Own Boss Expo coming to Bradley Square Mall in Cleveland, Tennessee on Saturday, September 17th. If you're interested in owning your own business or working from home, be sure you come out to this free Be Your Own Boss Expo. If you currently own a small business and want networking opportunities and want to display your products or services, there are still tables available. For more information or to reserve your table, visit byobexpo.net or call 865-368-1095.
7:02 your time. Thanks for joining us on the Tennessee Valley this morning. I want to thank Jay Baumgartner for coming by and telling us about blood assurance and their need for platelets. Don't forget to go by there on Key Street and donate if you can. Glad to have Gary Mack with us. We're going to talk about Hospice of Chattanooga, Cleveland in just a moment, but first let me catch you up on what's going on around the area. Several military veterans or their widows were honored by Garden Plaza this week. The patriotic afternoon featured personalized American flags and stories from World War II. Flags were distributed to 43 veterans and 33 widows residing in the senior living community there on Keith Street. Bradley County Election Commission wants voters to know about changes in the state election law before the 2012 election. That's when voters must present identification bearing their names and photographs in order to vote, just as if they were boarding a plane or cashing a check. Voters who do not have a valid photo ID can get one from free, by the way, from any driver's license bureau in the state of Tennessee. Bradley County Sheriff's Office looking for a suspect who reportedly tried to pass a fake $100 bill at a local convenience store. That clerk used a special pin to check that bill. When she told the man it was counterfeit, he said he would go to the car and get some money, and he never came back. The suspect is described as a black male, 5 feet 11 inches tall, with a tattoo on his right arm, and officers are looking at the store's security tape. That's your headlines. Let's take a look at your forecast. Looking pretty good today. Going to be cool, 72 for a high. Going to be a great day to be outside, I think. Going to be cloudy, but no rain in sight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny through Sunday. Highs in the, near 80 degrees. Overnight lows in the low to upper 50s. Right now, it is a very pleasant 57 degrees, and you're watching Tennessee Valley this morning. Thanks for joining us today. As I said, an old friend.
Yeah, I told you he'd go for that word.
I know. Yeah.
Old.
Yeah.
Gary Mack is here. You've seen Gary Mack for years and years. He used to anchor the evening news at
back in black and white television.
Back in the day, back in Channel 12, and I think I was over at Fox at the time. And we've been colleagues and friends through the years and in the same industry, and we both moved on to bigger and better things. And
so we say.
So we say. That's our story. We're
going with it.
It's good to see you, Gary.
Good to see you, Dave.
Thanks for getting up. You used to do the evening news. You're up awfully early. You know?
Well, but for 20 years before that, I was on the air every morning at 6 on the radio.
There you go.
This is really my time of day. I love
I'm
this.
a morning person myself.
And before we go too far, let me just get in a little Roll Tide.
There you go.
Oh, no, I had such a wonderful opinion of you till just now.
But she's not going to Gainesville to the game. No, but she'll wear the stuff.
Oh, yeah, Roll Tide. Boy,
Didn't say I would watch the game.
That was a low blow, wasn't it?
That was bad. That was really bad.
If I had known, I would have worn my crimson.
We'd have had a fight right here on the set.
That
would have been
That's
fun.
2 out of 3.
That would have been fun. Gary's here to talk about Hospice of Chattanooga. Of course, as I said, he was in the media for many, many years, and he made the transition. He's now an officer, and I don't know exactly what your title is. I think you're vice president or something.
I am, over marketing, volunteers, and the philanthropy piece for Hospice of Chattanooga, which, of course, serves this entire area. If you're watching this show, we serve. I heard Jay talking about blood assurance and how much ground they cover in geography. We cover 18 counties in southeast Tennessee and northwest Georgia. And we go into Polk County, and Bradley County, McMinn County, Meigs County, Ray County. We have an office over in Dayton, an office here in Cleveland, Tennessee, and this is a wonderful organization that does so much. And of course, when you think about hospice, you think about people who are dealing with a diagnosis of a terminal disease.
Sure.
And that's, of course, what we do every day. Today we'll serve about 500 lives in this 18-county area. Just today. We have about that many folks that will be, that our team will go out, nurses, doctors, social workers, bereavement counselors, chaplains that are all involved in the care of patients in this region who are facing end of life illness. One of the things, though, that I want to talk about this morning is the fact that when I came to this organization, I learned that we do so much more than just that.
Yes. You know, and a lot of people don't know that, Gary, so
They
it's
don't.
an opportunity for you to expand on that. And I know Michelle deals with this on a daily basis because she works with Clare Bridge and an Alzheimer's unit, and you see every day families who are facing these decisions.
Right, and it's always amazed me. You know, it seems when people think of hospice, they immediately think of cancer.
Yes.
Immediately think, oh, well, I have cancer, I need hospice. But that's not always the way it is. And I'm so glad to find, to be able to talk to families about hospice can do so much more than that. And especially if they get involved early.
Well, let's
Very
go
good
there.
point.
Talk about
let's do this piece first,
Okay.
then, because she brings up such an important, what we call the conversation.
Sure.
She knows from what she does every day and what we do in our world every day and what most people watching the show never think about in the course of a normal day is that you have to have that conversation.
And so many people aren't willing to do that.
You have to sit down with mom and dad. You have to sit down with grandpa and grandma.
It's tough.
And say, when that time comes, whatever that time is, what do you want to happen at the end of your life? What do you want to be connected to? What do you not want to be connected to?
Yes.
How do you want to deal with this? My father-in-law is a great example. He, God rest his soul, passed away several years ago, but said to us one day, you know what, I don't want to do the chemo and the radiation. I don't want to get pounded with all that stuff. Just let me die with dignity and let me die in my home. And that's what hospice care is really all about, is working with people to, as a lot of our team members say, we provide a quality of life for what life is left. And whatever that time might be. And too frequently, people hear the word hospice and they think, oh, mom or dad's going to die like today. You know, sometimes that does happen. But in so many cases, as she says, that getting us in sooner really does create a better quality of life.
It
For
does.
people that you've seen in your facilities and it's just a conversation that must be had with your doctor, with mom or dad. You know, the push-pull of this thing is that physicians, their goal is to heal, to make you better, to send you home, to fix whatever the problem is. And sometimes that's just not going to happen. And it's very hard for a physician, and because we're in awe of what they do, to say, you know, there's nothing else to be done. And what we hear from families every day is, oh my gosh, if we had just known what hospice does for us, we would have loved to have had you in here taking care of mom or grandma sooner.
And you help love the people through this process and support them through it.
And not just the patient, but you're about to say that, aren't you?
Yeah, I was but the families.
Yeah.
And also, you know, we have residents in our communities for so long. We as care providers become very attached to those residents.
Right.
And so many times hospice has supported us.
Yes.
And we thank you for that. So
You're welcome. The staff is just fabulous that I get to work with. They really are. One of the other things that you don't think about when you hear the word hospice, you frequently hear that word and you think of an old person. You think of someone who's infirm, someone who's gray, who's whatever. There's a whole other aspect of what we do. Hospice of Chattanooga, in this region that we talk about, all of these counties that are people in these counties watching us right now, we have the region's premier, I think, pediatric and perinatal team. You don't think of hospice, but think about that mom who has a stillborn child. Think of someone whose baby is born with a defect, and the doctor says, you know, this child's only going to live for a short while. That we serve those families we in all kinds of ways, and through the grief, through the bereavement, social workers that just stand there and go hand in hand with these parents through a process. It's devastating, you know, when you're that young and something like that happens, or a child who, you know, maybe an accident. So one of the things we do is we have a team of people that are dedicated to the care of children and those new moms that are having these situations come up and deal with it. And Hospice of Chattanooga is right there for them. We have also a grief camp. So we want to thank BILO and SunTrust, because both of those entities have stepped up and funded what is happening tomorrow. Is a grief camp for children. It'll be at St. John's United Methodist Church on Highway 58 in Chattanooga. But we have another one coming up on October 1st. This is for teenagers, and we've become almost the grief group for this area, but you know, sort of de facto.
So let me stop you there. So the care continues even after the person is passed. for the family.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So you don't just once they die, you don't just stop and say, well, we're done.
No. We have a wonderful team of bereavement folks
So it's
who
support
work with
system
you
for the family.
for at least 13 to 15 months after the passing of a relative.
I
We are
see.
there for you in so
That's
many
incredible.
ways. We have family support groups right here in Cleveland that take place in the Dayton office. We do these support groups on a monthly basis. People who can come. We have family nights, and these places, these sessions are packed with people who in many cases have been coming for a couple of years after the passing of someone. But children grieve differently than we do.
They do.
We know
Yes.
that. And so they lose a grandma, they lose a parent. 1 out of 1,000 children before the age of 18, national statistic, 1 out of 1,000 children will lose a parent before the age of 18. So we have these grief camps. One is tomorrow, and then we have one which is for ages 4 to 11, and the other is October 1st for teenagers who have suffered a loss in their life. And it doesn't have to have anything to do with whether or not the person who died was with hospice. Has nothing to do with that. We have children who come whose parents committed suicide, OD'd, were in a car accident, died of heart attack, whatever. Maybe it's a grandparent. But we do these camps every year, and we hope that people will take advantage of that. Go to our website to sign up, here's the long part, hospiceofchattanooga.org.
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 So it is a nonprofit then.
Not-for-profit organization. We're the largest not-for-profit hospice in the area. And have these kids be a part. It's absolutely free. It's all underwritten by BILO and SunTrust.
Now that's an important point. It's all free.
It's all free.
So many people don't seek care like this or counseling because they think, I can't afford this.
Yes, exactly.
It's free. That's incredible.
Yeah, this is a free thing we do thanks to the benefactors for
Right.
this. And we hope to do one here in this part of the service area, here in the Cleveland area, and maybe over in Dayton in the very near future. But right now we have a lot of people from this area that do go down to Chattanooga for this.
It's a fantastic service, Gary.
Yeah.
We've got to take a break here in just
know
a
you do.
second, but I want to touch on one other thing. You mentioned your benefactors. There are opportunities for giving and even some tax benefits if people want to make Hospice of Chattanooga one of their charitable organizations.
Because as a not-for-profit, we do have a service to the community we provide, which is, you don't think about some of these families that aren't, a lot of our funding and a lot of hospice care is paid for through Medicare. But if you're not Medicare eligible, if you're 42, if you're a child, if you're a young family, you're not Medicare eligible, then how is that paid for? How is that care paid for? And that's through donations that people make to our organization. You see a lot of times in the obituaries, in lieu of flowers, make a donation to, and that's where the majority of our gifts come from. But that's not all. So yes, clearly, anyone who would like to make a donation to our organization, we put it to great use for these kids, for the families that cannot afford the care. Hospice of Chattanooga Foundation is very active, and we have a lot of fundraising activities that we do throughout the year for that.
Now, if someone is in need of hospice care,
And you can also make a donation on the website. So,
on the website,
yeah,
great.
just
And that,
click
again,
on there and give credit cards, all secure, all that jazz.
hospiceofchattanooga.org. Briefly, before we have to take a break, but a lot of people think of hospice as terminal care, but you provide care also for people who are living with complex pain, I understand.
We do. We have a palliative care program that is growing, and it's really one of the premier programs in this region.
Yeah.
Dr. Robert Goldman, who just came from Wisconsin, is our new medical director for palliative care services, which in some cases does be a precursor to hospice care, but in many cases it's not. It's just a way for him to work with these patients and help to manage pain. And it's a growing program. Palliative care, it's a weird word. People go, what does that mean?
Yeah.
But look it up, read it. But palliative care is a very big thing now in healthcare.
Yeah, and there's a broad array of services available
Yeah.
from Hospice of Chattanooga. And they call it Hospice of Chattanooga, but I want to emphasize that your service area is 18 counties.
18 counties.
And Bradley
We
County.
keep talking about that, and everybody says, well, Hospice of Cleveland, Hospice of Dayton. Right now it's Hospice of Chattanooga,
Yeah.
but we serve all of these areas. If
Yeah.
you're watching this show, we go to your area
And
work with all the hospitals, Copper Basin, Sky Ridge,
Right.
Ray Medical. Yeah.
Sure. Doing a great service. And
And all the facilities, all the great facility people too.
Sure.
I can't leave them out really because we do a lot of work with
Yeah.
you, your
Yeah.
staff, and others around.
certainly
you know.
do. Yeah. Gary, it's always good to see you.
Is it?
And yeah, it is. I always enjoy visiting
That makes
with
my
you.
day.
It's always
It was
fun
wonderful
when
to
you're-
meet
It's
you.
lovely to meet you.
It's always fun when Gary's around. Gary Mack, he's a professional and doing a great job. Vice President at the Hospice of Chattanooga. And good to have you with us on the
Good to
show
be
today.
here.
And we hope that if you need that service, that you'll take advantage of Hospice of Chattanooga, because they do a fine, fine job of helping families, getting them through the crisis. And crisis does come eventually. It hits us all.
It does. Have that conversation.
Yeah, have a conversation. Is it important to have that in writing?
Oh,
Somebody
absolutely.
wishes in
Advanced
writing?
directives, wills, all of that stuff is so very important. But so many times we just run into families who go, you know, I don't know what mom would want in this situation. You got to know before you get to the situation.
Write it down. Very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gary Mack, always good to see you. Thanks
you,
a lot
sir.
for coming. It's 7:17. Got to take a break. Back in a moment. We're going to have some fun with Dr. Ron Gilbert from Lee University.
I'm Dr. James Markham, host of the television program Heart of Health, seen right here on WTNB television, Thursday at 7 o'clock, Friday at 8 a.m., or Sunday at 3:30 p.m.
I'm Wes Robbins with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. When it comes to employee benefits, we've got you covered. Call me today for the best service and best solutions to your group health and employee benefits needs. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
How would you like to look and feel better? If so, then visit the Ford Center for Anti-Aging, located at 2020 Key Street Northwest. Dr. Ford has been serving Cleveland and the surrounding area since 1984. He is a licensed physician with the Board of Anti-Aging Medicine, offering affordable Botox injections. Botox is a medication that is used to treat dynamic wrinkles such as crow's feet, forehead lines, and frown lines. In addition to Botox therapy, rejuvenate and smooth wrinkled skin. The micro laser peel treats skin conditions associated with aging and active lifestyles. If you're looking for safe and affordable anti-aging treatment, call the Ford Center for Anti-Aging at 423-614-0535, located at 2020 Key Street Northwest.
Hello, I'm Pastor Greg Casto with United Christian Church here in Cleveland, Tennessee. Do I have some exciting news for you? On September the 25th, right here in Cleveland, Tennessee, the mighty Kingsman Quartet from Asheville, North Carolina is going to be here in concert. That's on Sunday night at 6 o'clock, September the 25th, right here at 2200 Peerless Road here in Cleveland, Tennessee. I want you to be here and be a part of this great concert.
Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland, is your #1 Dodge Chrysler and Jeep dealer in this area. Stop by and see the brand new 2011 Chrysler 200. The 200 is essentially a new nameplate with a significant facelift to the outgoing 2010 Chrysler Sebring. A beautiful vehicle at an unbeatable price. And while you're there, check out the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee and the newly designed Dodge Durango. Redesigned, revamped, and reinvigorated. Yes, the Dodge Durango is back, bigger and better than ever. Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep offers a complete parts and service department with qualified service technicians to fix and repair your vehicle. So for your next brand new or pre-owned vehicle, make it Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland.
Do you want to own your own business? Have you dreamed of being your own boss? If so, you do not want to miss the Be Your Own Boss Expo coming to Bradley Square Mall in Cleveland, Tennessee on Saturday, September 17th. If you're interested in owning your own business or working from home, be sure you come out to this free Be Your Own Boss Expo. If you currently own a small business and want networking opportunities and want to display your products or services, there are still tables available. For more information or to reserve your table, visit byobexpo.net or call 865-368-1095.
Special thanks to Gary Mack, Hospice of Chattanooga, for coming in this morning and getting up early to telling us about the services provided by hospice. We have another special guest, Dr. Ron Gilbert, Lee University. I call him Ron. I guess I call him friend more than anything else, but glad to have Ron Gilbert here. Before we talk to Ron, I want to talk about some birthdays. We always have to wish a happy birthday on Friday. Chris McGrath over at Life Care Centers of America and the Media Center. Chris is having a birthday today, and I'm sure his lovely wife Karen will make sure he gets a birthday cake. Laura Gilbert. Laura's been on the show talking about Gilbert Automotive. And
Right.
in fact, they worked on my car several times because I've had a few fender benders. That's another story. But she's having a birthday tomorrow, and Glennis Varlak, Allgood, is having a birthday tomorrow. So happy birthday to all those folks. And it's not Ron's birthday, but it's a special day because he's here to get the weekend started good. Hi, Ron.
It's good to be here, Dan. Roll Tide.
Roll.
Oh, see?
Oh,
You just can't win.
I cannot win today.
You just can't
I am
win.
sporting my orange with Smokies on it.
Tell you why Ron's
you
here.
know.
We're going to talk about, we've got the big block party coming up in October.
Yes.
Everybody goes to the block party. Halloween is coming, and I was over at Fox yesterday taping a show with the Chattanooga mayor, and an author, local author, gave me this book. It's called Haunted Chattanooga. I don't know if there's any stories in there about Cleveland or not, but it's an excellent book, and you can probably get it on Amazon.com, written by Jessica Pinot and Amy Petula. And it promises to be an interesting read. Also, I hit the jackpot yesterday, folks. Also, I have two tickets. I might raffle these off to Ruby Falls Haunted Cavern. That's going to be fun. Starting September 30th and ending on October 8th. And so 2 tickets to that. So people are getting into the haunted mindset. So we thought, well, we'll just talk about a haunted Cleveland because we've got a few haunted places around here. I understand you've put in, at least you thought you put in new, smoke detectors in your house?
yeah, I was just going to talk about my remodeling. I just put new smoke detectors in my house, Dan. Listen, if you get Jiffy Pop and hang them up right next to the ceiling, it's the best smoke detector you've ever used. But seriously, where's the drum sound effect? If you want to talk
What
about
does that have to do with haunted Cleveland?
nothing, Dan. That's what I thought. But I haven't had coffee yet, so
We can fix that after the show.
I don't claim to be an expert, but I do play one on TV about haunted Cleveland. Dan, it actually is pretty scary if you've been out there.
I tell you what's scary is having you on the show.
That's what I'm beginning to think.
He said with his tongue in his cheek. It's pretty scary out there, Dan. Do you want to know how scary it is?
How scary is it, Rob?
Well, there have been some sightings. First of all, yeah, absolutely. At this time of year, it gets a little creepy out there, especially if you're waiting on the bus and it's dark and cold. First of all, down near the Opera House, you know where that is, right across from the courthouse?
Yeah, Craig Miles Hall.
Yeah, they claim that
John Philip Sousa's
they
orchestra
claim
played there.
his ghost wanders around there, and people,
Craig Miles?
yeah, in front of the courthouse, people see playing the trombone all the time. It's just they burst into marches. It's horrible. They just get a spirit of Sousa on them.
Spirit of Sousa?
Spirit of Sousa. So that's pretty scary, isn't it?
Oh, that is scary.
But there's more, Dan.
One spirit I haven't heard of.
Cleveland is so haunted.
How haunted is it?
It's really haunted, Dan. You know, in 1957, a school bus on its way to Arnold disappeared in the fog.
No.
Yeah, it really did. All children on board were disappeared. And every once in a while they reappear and they throw paper wads out the window and yell, "Go Ike," and "I love Sputnik." Yeah, Dan, it's horrible. It's horrible. But wait, there's more.
more.
Absolutely.
You sound like one of those hawkers on TV, but wait,
it's
there's
terrible.
more. We'll also throw in this for 1995.
In 1966, Mr. Feste's prize bull.
Mr. Feste's Prize.
Well, I made his name up to protect him because he wants to preserve his anonymity. Come on, stay with me. This is serious stuff, man. You're talking about the other world here. Mr. Feste's prize bull was hit by the train. And every day, if you listen really close, every day, right around noon, you can hear the bull bellow. It's about the time that the lunch horn goes off over there at Whirlpool. But I'm not saying that's true. It's a terrible thing. But the worst one,
poor bull.
Speaking of bull, the worst one is that the spirit of Chief Dragging Canoe of the Cherokees.
I didn't know about that.
Yes, he haunts the Greenway.
The Cleveland Bradley County Greenway.
Yeah, and here's the trick. Chief Dragon Canoe dresses up in running shoes and shorts. So every time I go on the Greenway, I said, "Are you Chief Dragon Canoe?" And people look at me, but they don't know that it's really, I'm looking for the
looking for the cheese.
Yeah, and then I got arrested for that. But I was stalking them, looking for the spirit. But that's really, Dan, it's a scary, scary place.
I can tell that it is, especially on the Greenway.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that they patrol that. The police patrol that on a regular basis.
It's horrible. It's terrible. That Greenway is an amazing place, though. We're trying to bring back sport fishing there. The Mouse Creek is just an amazing opportunity.
Oh.
Once the bluefin marlin and the tuna roam free there, and now
In the Mouse.
It
In the
was
Mouse
an
Creek.
amazing place. You could go down there and you could make a living. People were commercially fishing the Mouse at one time.
Really?
I think
Tuna,
so.
bluefin tuna?
Oh, it was unbelievable.
Oh, and it's all gone now.
Down there by the Grand Canyon of the Mouse, right? Where the waters over the years have run that narrow channel through eons at Keith and 25th. There's giant walls there of the Grand Canyon. Dan, I've run out of material, so help me out here. We're getting thin here. What else do you want to ask me? Speaking of, so
this is scary.
Yeah.
There are some legitimate haunted places in Cleveland.
there really are.
Silly. They're silly.
If I
This
could
is
think of
silly.
some more,
There really are. But every year, let's see, who does this? Is it the Bank of Cleveland? They have a haunted tour. And
They do.
I went to it last year, and they tell you about the places. And you mentioned Craig Mile Hall. That's one of them. And of course, the other one is the mausoleum there behind. Is it the Lutheran Church?
Yes.
Further down, about 4th or 5th, whatever that street is. It's downtown. But there's a lot of places like that.
There's a lot of
downtown.
places, creepy places.
Yeah, and they may even be mentioned in this book, Haunted Chattanooga. It sounds like a good read. Check it out on Amazon. Jessica Pinot, P-E-N-O-T, is the author. But it's going to be a fun time. I noticed they've got the, is it the candy corn that's always a Halloween corn? The little candy corn? That's everywhere now.
Yeah,
And
Ken Beard gives those out. He loves candy corn because it's good
And I've
for
noticed
his business.
online, there companies are hawking their adult costumes for Halloween already. I'm sure you've got yours.
I don't talk about that on TV.
You don't?
I don't talk about adult costumes on TV.
Adult
This is a children's show. This is a family show. But seriously, yeah, I usually dress up like a Disney character. It's my favorite.
A Disney character.
Yeah.
Well, it would
Something
be-
with wings.
Wouldn't be Donald Duck or Mickey Mouse. would
No,
it?
something with wings.
So with wings.
Yeah, like a firefly or something.
Oh yeah. He's trying to tell us he's an angel.
No, we're
with
trying to
that
tell you,
and
we've
stuff.
run out of good material. Is what it is.
It's a good thing that the director over there is holding up one finger saying we got 1 minute left.
1 minute, okay. Well, Dan, it's always good to be here.
Well,
really.
it's always good to see Ron. It really is. And if things go well, we may spend a little time on the boat this weekend.
We could.
You never.
I like
you
your
just
boat.
never know.
You know, if you'd ever put it in the water, it'd be really better. But sitting up in your trailer in your front yard gets really old. But we eat bread and bologna. He loves that bologna.
I
We
know.
can just sit there and throw
Mustard, bread,
Coke bottles out in the yard.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's all
Don't
right.
use as much gas that way.
That's true. A little
But-
cheaper.
And it is
Anyway.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we are out of time. We've
Thank
just
goodness.
created as much bologna as we could, and
Yeah.
we've done that this morning. You have a great vacation.
Thank you.
You and your lovely, I don't want to say lovely husband. You and your
My
husband.
lovely
you're
husband.
You're the lovely one. He's the husband. But have a good time.
Thank you.
Celebrating 20 years. Ron, thanks for coming in.
It's
today.
always a pleasure.
And-
A pressure, Dan. Always a pressure.
The pressure.
You have a great weekend. Don't forget the county fair coming up. Well, it started last night. Don't forget that. Going on
And-
all weekend. Have a great weekend. We'll see you here.
Remember
on
Mr. Feste's Bull. Don't forget that.
Yeah,
Listen
that's a
for it
lot.
today at noon. You'll hear him.
See you on Monday.